Well, after a weekend where the so-called crackdown had become a thing of the past, everyone had seemingly moved on. Drama at the death in that match there, Cam. And hearing Cameron Munster speak afterwards, saying ill discipline from our team, we copped it on the chin.
Yep.
We let that one go. How do you sum that up?
Yeah, well, I tend to agree. I think the Storm got away to a very good start. They looked in a real mood, didn't they, early when they scored those two tries, particularly that try to Ryan Pappenhausen and Suafai-Longo. Seriously. It was a ridiculous play down that right-hand side with a nice kick back into the middle. But ill discipline led Canberra back into the match, where it became 12-all. And then it was a bit of an arm wrestle for a long, long period of time. The Storm finally got their third try, 60th minute, and then they're lining up for a field goal. Pappenhausen kicks it, and it looks like it's all over. They're up by 7 points. What was it, 3 or 4 minutes to go? Stunning comeback by Canberra. Stunning comeback.
Making a habit of it.
Kayo, like that try to Kayo Weeks, incredible. Ill discipline though.
Had the Trent Liero sleep last night?
Well, he's very disappointed. He felt extremely bad about the penalty that he gave away. I stayed for the game. I watched the game, and in the sheds he cut a very sombre figure in the dressing rooms, and he knows that he played a part in letting the team down. But a couple of calls there that you probably look at it and go, well, were there high contact tackles like that earlier in the game that were let go? Possibly. It was a big call to finish the match.
Huge. I feel that one there is a bigger call. Obviously, look, I think the last play of the match. I think the last play of the match, he did make contact with the head. It's probably these days the way we're refing the game, it's a penalty. But that one there, you got to remember the way I saw it, the way the rules come out the other day is once the play of the ball is played, that's the next play in the game. Okay, so what's happened before that is now gone. Unless something is worth being put on report, and from what I understand, it's Simbi. Now, there's no way in the world what he did is worth even being put on report, let alone being Simbi. But they went back and took it off them and penalised him. So that's one that really surprised me. The other one that you took, the Stefano one. How many times do you see throughout the match when there's a little bit of a not a push and shove, but like a scuffle, or players are tangled up in the play of the ball, getting tangled exactly like that. Does the referee blow the whistle, call time off, make him step back half a step, and play the ball? Do you see it multiple times throughout the match when a player steps off the mark by half an inch? They just make him play the ball. That's exactly what should have happened there. There was no need for everyone to run in and carry on. The referee should have blown time off. He should have been allowed to play the ball. And then everyone's set, the defensive line set, the attacking line set. Whatever happens, happens. But I thought that one and the Trent Liero penalty were hard calls. I thought the one that won the Raiders a game, the way the game's refereed these days was probably a penalty.
Some genuine bad.
Well, tell me this. If that's golden point in the grand final, are you going to decide a premiership on that?
Oh, the fact is, Gus, it probably has to be.
Do you think he would have
I'm not a referee. I don't want to be a referee, but that would be a penalty, in my opinion, every single day of the week.
I'm happy for you to referee. Far happier than some of the others that I've seen. You mean to tell me in golden point in the grand final, they're going to decide the premiership on that?
I think he made contact with the head, Gus. I think he did.
You think he did?
He did. He definitely did. Actually,
I don't think he did. Quick.
He definitely did.
At that stage,
when you look at Hudson Young, look at Hudson Young. Hudson Young does not even react. He doesn't think it's high at all.
That's the problem with our game, that they consider those penalties. Yeah, that's the problem with our game.
That's where we're at.
That's the problem with our game.
That's where we've been at the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Look at the rubbish we went through the week before. Now, they toned it down this week. Everyone said this weekend was good. It was better. It wasn't good, right? But we still get a result off a game like that. You tell me, golden point in the grand final, they're going to blow that penalty.
Well, you don't reckon they would?
Oh, geez, it'd be a big call, wouldn't it? I don't know if they would.
Of course they wouldn't.
You don't reckon
they wouldn't?
I reckon they would.
Of course they would.
He made contact with the head.
Of course they would.
He's made contact with the head, Gus.
Of course they would.
It's very, very unfair and probably not quite right on Liero, but because the fact is, once again, the player's body level is lowered quite quickly. But he made contact with the head.
I'll tell you where we'll find out. We'll find out in 3 weeks' time in Game 1 of Origin.
Yep. All right.
We'll see if there's
Did you see the women's Origin?
Yes. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. If that was a men's game, there'd have been 5 sin bins. Yeah. If it had been the week before, there'd have been 5 sent off.
Yeah, I agree.
You're right. 100%. 100%.
Is there any...
The spin is incredible. The spin is just incredible. Honestly.
An arm coming off the ball.
There is no way that should be a penalty in our game. No way.
Gus, the way the game has been ruled this year, the last 2 or 3 years...
It doesn't make it right.
It doesn't make it right, Gus, but it is with the rules. We've had this argument multiple times in the past.
Then the rules are wrong. The interpretations are wrong.
Gus, you need to go see someone at the game and tell them to change the interpretation.
Who's going to listen to me?
Well, I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Who's going to listen to me?
But the fact is, the way the game's refereed at the moment...
Who's going to listen to me? What they do is they wear people like you down who then start getting on their side.
No, that's the way it is,
You blokes played the game.
And I definitely...
Are you not embarrassed for that?
I'm absolutely embarrassed for it.
Cameron, are you not embarrassed for that?
This has not just happened. This has been going on for years.
How many games did you play? 1,400 or something. Are you not embarrassed for that?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Yeah, well...
For the game that I played. And I'll tell you this much. Like, I was sitting in the stands. I heard a lot of comments from people in the stands watching that final game when that penalty went up, and they said, that's a joke. That's embarrassing.
Of course it's a joke.
You know, and it makes me not... I'm just saying what our fans are talking about, Gary.
I agree with you, Smithy. I think it's a joke. I'm 100% with you. We played the game, mate. We know that probably shouldn't be a penalty.
Yeah.
But the way the game has been refereed the past couple of years...
Now you're agreeing with me. That's all I needed.
The way the game has been refereed the past couple of years...
Doesn't make it right.
Listen, right, wrong, that's the way the game's refereed.
Doesn't make it... Well, who made that rule up? Who decided that?
I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Someone within the commission.
Right.
Someone in the commission.
So back onto the actual football side of things, the Raiders win the match.
Yep.
I told you early on, they're fit, they're fast, they're committed, they never give up.
No.
And in this competition, that wins you a lot of games.
Yeah. Can they maintain it for the rest of this 27 round
Absolutely they can.
Absolutely.
Because there are a lot of teams who can't do what they do.
Yep.
There are a lot of teams that can't play for 88 minutes and keep coming like they do.
I've said it, but they remind me a lot of our... Honestly, I'm not...
No, you're right, mate.
2016.
Yep.
They do. Like, they got this older forward pack that are hard-nosed and generally don't get beaten. They've got these young...
Athletic,
fast outside backs that just play with no fear. And that's what we had. And they've got Fogarty at half-back who controls the team, steers the team around the park. The only thing I feel is a little bit different is we had Ben Barber, who's probably a bit more experienced than their young fullback at the moment. But talk about excitement.
Yep.
We scored the try that got them back in the match. So, but Fogarty just... steers him around the park. He's the old head. I'm shocked that they didn't keep him.
How do you think Manly are feeling right now about signing him for 3 years?
He's a great player. He just steers him around the park. He's the old head in the back line there. And mate,
not only are they fit and they're fast, they know it too, because the week before against the Dolphins, they were down 28-10 at half-time.
Yep.
28-10 and never looked like losing.
Oh, they scored 40, didn't they?
Yeah, never looked like losing. 30-0 in the second half. Too fit, too fast, too committed, never give up. That wins you a lot of games in this competition.
Yep.
Still premiership favourites, the Melbourne Storm, though, Cameron?
Yeah, they are, by a bit of a gap too.
A big gap.
Which is a little bit surprising given the inconsistent nature of their season so far. Spoke with Craig Bellamy afterwards too. He was very disappointed with the way they played.
I asked you a question about the Storm, and I don't know how. I've only been with Craig Bellamy in Origin.
Yeah.
Do you reckon, is there any way or thought they might just be sort of treading water at the moment and waiting to sort of the back end of the year to really start maybe training them a bit harder, maybe freshen them up?
No, I don't think so.
No. So he wants them on 24/7.
Yeah, there's never been a season that I've known Craig or been involved with that footy side where he'll build from start to finish.
Yeah.
It's be ready from start to the end.
Okay.
You know, and I think you make tweaks and everything along the way. You got to remember Harry Grant's out. He's been out now for 2 or 3 games.
Yep.
I think they're hoping to get him back, possibly not this week, next week.
What's doing with the sofa? Where is he?
No idea.
He's playing reserve grade. Actually, I saw him on Instagram today. He posted something on Instagram throwing a beautiful offload, but that was playing for. Don't even know who it was playing for. So he's not there at the moment.
Yeah, Will Warbrick as well. He's having some issues with some concussion. He's trying to overcome. So, you know, they're missing some of their quality starters, I guess that would regularly be there. But you know, they've got a good enough lineup.
Or Silfar-Longo, throwing him on the wing.
Oh,
and some of the magic, as you mentioned before, that he comes up with. How do you keep him permanently in that 13 if you're full strength?
Yeah. I don't think he'd be in the starting 13 if Warbrick's back. You know, I think when you've got a 6'5" winger, you know, he's very much very much the same as Xavier Coates with that threat, you know, from a cross kick and aerial, threats up high. But you know, when he comes up with big plays like he did the other night, you've got to try and find him somewhere in that 17, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Is he a 14? Could it be a 14? Could you put him in the middle at all?
Oh, Gal, I don't think so at the moment. Yep. I don't think so at the moment. I think he's just probably just a little bit young, a little bit inexperienced to throw him in the middle.
And you got Wish out there.
Yeah, Wishy, yeah.